Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Texas Panhandle Sports Podcast, brought to you by Belmar Bakery and Cafe. It's Tuesday, September 6th. I'm Steve Forrest, across the table from my co-host, Kel Steed. And, Kel, we have some news this morning. As I mentioned, this podcast is now brought to you courtesy of Dina Zaccardo and Belmar Bakery and Cafe.
How awesome is that? Thank you to Dina Zaccardo and Belmar Bakery. Great cookies, great breakfast, great food.
Yeah,
wow, that's awesome.
Absolutely. Appreciate Dina Zaccardo and Belmar Bakery and Cafe for supporting the Texas Panhandle Sports Podcast as our very first sponsor, and proud to have them on board with us.
Yeah, Dina's son is a left tackle at Bushland. Her daughter was an all-state player at Bushland, won a state championship. You know, she was great at Texas A&M Kingsville as well last year. And, Dina one day gave me pastries in a box to take home, and I think it lasted Serena and I about 2 days.
2 days?
Or a day. Maybe not even 2 days.
It lasted me 2 seconds.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe a day. And the only reason maybe 2 days because we're not home from working, all day.
Yeah, took it easy on the cookies, but yeah.
Well, they cook. Oh, I could eat a million of those things. They're good. But anyway, we really appreciate her, and she's a big supporter of high school sports, and very nice of her to support us. So.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate Dina over there at Belmar Bakery and Cafe for being part of the Texas Panhandle Sports Podcast. Got a lot to talk about today. Kelsey, we're going to jump right in and talk first about some local college guys at the D1 level, some high school guys that have moved into the college game playing D1. We'll start with OSU, the Oklahoma State University Pokes over there. Taylor Cornelius, 6 of 8, right?
Yeah, it was nice to see. They rolled over Southeast Louisiana. They gave Taylor a lot of playing time over Mason after Mason Rudolph was taken out in the second quarter. And Taylor came in, 6 of 8, 54 yards, and had a rushing touchdown. And awesome to see for him, man. Backup quarterback there. Yeah,
Taylor was the former Bushland High quarterback.
But I don't think he was the one that made the. Highlight as much as our boy Chance Cook, though.
Yeah, former Canadian running back and free safety Chance Cook, now on the roster at OSU, is playing special teams. Is Chance, and like you said, the highlight. Crazy play from Chance Cook as he came around the end on the punt and just destroyed the Southeastern Louisiana punter.
Yeah, I don't think that punter's ever going to want to kick again after having to meet Chance Cook. And you know that you saw Chance in high school. I think he was the best athlete in the area.
I think definitely Chance Cook was kind of under the radar at times, but he was probably the best athlete, I would say, in the area. He was hurt his junior year, but he came back and had an amazing year and then a great year last year for Canadian. But Chance is, he's going to be a special player at the D1 level, I think. And this year, proud of him getting some playing time at special teams. He was on the kickoff teams and the punts as well. So that was cool to see Chance get the highlight reel, and that was good for good to see a local boy.
Not surprising at all either.
No, not absolutely not. He's a beast.
He is.
I mean, he was a beast last year, and I saw the pictures from Bruce Waterfield and OSU Athletics.
Yeah, great photographer.
And you could just see Chance's physique is even more so than it was last year. He's
Makes
put on,
you and I dad bodies look pretty bad, doesn't it?
Definitely always has, But yeah, good to see Chance over there at OSU doing some good things. Also, we'll talk about Dylan Douglas at ACU, the former Canyon High athlete.
Yeah, and ACU looks a lot. Abilene Christian looks way improved from last year in the Southland Conference, and they went up to take on Air Force. They're at the Air Force Academy in Colorado, and man, they weren't outclassed. They lost 37-21, but Dylan, a sack, a forced fumble. I mean, the guy was wreaking havoc at the DN position, and that guy's worked hard to be where he is today, and he put on 40 pounds in the last 3 years, and he's just. You could tell he's really now starting to come into his own, and that was a fun weekend for him. I know they didn't win, but still to go to Air Force and play like they did, I think ECU is going to win some games this year.
What about Jadadian High?
Jadadian
High from Texas Tech. He's a Hereford boy.
Yeah.
Texas Tech now.
Yeah, Lance went and saw him over the weekend. Tech built a pretty good lead. He's backup receiver, and he made the most of it. I think 6 catches, 54 yards and a TD, and that high-powered Cliff Kingsbury offense. So that's good, and he plays a lot of special teams, so it's good to see that kid, a Hereford kid, making the best of an opportunity at Tech. He was on the starting rotation in the spring, but right now back it up because Tech is loaded at receiver right now. So, but luckily, hey, he's still getting in, and he's making the most of reps.
How about PD grad Charleston White over Washington State?
I know he's disappointed. Mike Leach, they took a horrible loss to Eastern Washington, but Charleston White played a lot, and he had 2 tackles. And he's rotating in at defensive back, and 2 tackles, a Paladero kid that's worked his way from the bottom, and you got to give him credit, man. I think Washington State will be fine. That's a typical Leach loss for those that watch a lot of Mike Leach games. But 2 tackles for Charleston, that's really good.
I also want to mention former Bushland quarterback Cameron Mathis, now the starting quarterback at UTPB.
Yeah, man. The first win in UTPB history. They had close to 14,000 at Ratliff for that game against Sol Ross. They won 27-6. And Cameron Mathis, 13 of 25, 163 and 2 touchdowns. And he'll go down in the history books as the quarterback for the Falcons' first ever win in program history. So pretty awesome for that guy. And you know what a great young man he is, and pretty awesome story.
Yeah, good stuff from Mathis over at UTPB. Gabe Rodriguez and Cade Satterwhite,
yeah,
a couple of local guys.
Each saw action at Commerce in their win over the University of the Little Sisters of the Poor. They played University of Faith and NAIA school, but good to see Gabe and Cade both getting action. Gabe comes in the truck package for Colby Cartzel's team, and Cade played a lot on defense. So, and Commerce is the preseason favorite in the LSC, and I don't see that it's going to be hard for anybody to beat them. And I expect those 2 guys to see a lot of action this year.
Yeah, the last couple guys I want to talk about is former Pampa quarterback Reid Miller and former PD grad Horatio Smith.
Man, that tandem right there tore it up for Northwestern Oklahoma State on Thursday in the season opener. Beat Arkansas Monticello 59-56. But that's us the story, Steve. Tell them what the story is.
Well, the story was Reid Miller, right? And his stats. What were his stats?
493 yards passing.
7 touchdowns.
Broke his own school record with 7 touchdowns. And, when you do that, you got to get a shout-out on the podcast here. We got to get him we had him on the phone. We had to. Joining us now is Reid Miller, the former Pampa Harvester and now senior at Northwestern Oklahoma State. Reid, thanks for taking the time with us.
Well, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. And what a weekend for you, or last Thursday, and in the season opener, you were able to put up some huge numbers and break your own school record, man. What was that like?
It's good to start the season off 1-0. That's all I'm worried about. The big goal this year is to win games, and if that's what it takes to win games, then I guess that's what I'm going to do. I was lucky to have guys around me put up some incredible performances and got protected really well up front. And, it makes me look good, but I didn't do nothing but throw the ball up.
Very humble guy you are. And, man, Horatio Smith, the Paladero kid, one of your main targets. And how easy does Horatio make your job?
Well, the kid has worked his rear end off to get to where he's at now. Just between last year and this year, it's night and day. But honestly, if it came down to him at any corner in the country, I like my chances with him. The kid can fly quick. His routes are crisp. The kid does it all, and he's only going to get better. He's only a sophomore.
Yeah, no joke. And, hey, who you got this weekend?
This weekend we go all the way to Magnolia, Arkansas, play Southern Arkansas.
All right, well, good luck to you, bud, okay?
Yeah, of course, thank you.
Maybe 9 touchdowns in this one.
I hope. If I get the W, I'll do it.
That, of course, quarterback Reid Miller over Northwestern Oklahoma State.
Great kid, man.
And Alva, former Pampa quarterback, had a great game last week, and good to catch up with him.
Having a great career. He's probably now only about 3,200 yards from the school record passing. And he's just awesome to talk to. I can sit there and talk. He's like a coach, man. The guy he knows it all. He's going to coach after college if the NFL doesn't pan out. And he's awesome, man. I love talking to that guy.
Yeah, definitely. He's great to talk to, and glad you were able to catch up with him. Want to move from some of the local college guys into the high school level.
Yeah, another week 2, man, and what a crazy week 2.
Yeah, definitely got some great games to talk about beginning of the 6A. And we'll talk about Tascosa and Plainview. Tascosa moves to 2-0 with a 48-28 win over Plainview.
Not surprising. We said that last week. We thought it was an interesting road game, but we both knew that with that ground game Tascosa has, and they did that again, totaling 355 yards on the ground. So just the machine, and now it's Amarillo High, buddy, on Friday.
Yeah, this is Amarillo High Tascosa week, you know, and lots
Hell
of hype.
Week. I can say that here, right? Hell Week.
You can say that. That's what it's called, you know. And going to be it's always a fun week, Tascosa, Amarillo High, and definitely a lot of hype surrounding that game. And that Bivens will be full.
Yeah.
And just a fun week. Looking forward to that. Tascosa moves to 2-0 on the season. 5A, Amarillo takes down Odessa High in a shutout, 57-0.
Not surprising.
And Amarillo High now 1-0 on the season.
Yeah, not surprising at all. Odessa High is it's a bad year for them. Amarillo High flexed their muscle a little bit, showed how good they could be.
Yeah, not a lot to talk about in that one. as you mentioned, with Odessa High. Canyon takes down Monahan's 55-34, the final score in that one.
Well, that's two good teams right there. I went and watched the first half of this game, and I was very impressed by both sides. Both sides ran the ball extremely well. Jalen Ford, we saw what he was all about for Canyon, the junior who was a sensational sophomore at Emerald High. And Monahan's is a really good football team. This was a good win for Canyon, and Palacios had a great game. I liked seeing him in person for the first time, and, yeah, really good game.
Jalen Ford.
Yeah, 235, 4 touchdowns.
Running back for Canyon.
Yeah, that guy is he's a game changer.
Had a huge game. Moving to Dumas and Lubbock Estacado. Dumas gets their second win on the season, taking down Estacado 56-0.
Chad Dunham was concerned coming into this game, and you look at that score, man, he's got Dumas rolling right now, man.
Dumas has got a great program this year, I'll say that.
They do. They are looking fantastic, and John Mars with 148 yards rushing. They got a great defense with Derek Ditto. I like this team a lot, and I like Chad Dunham. Can't wait to see what they do the rest of the season.
I'm with you. I like Dumas. I think they have something going over there. Randall lost to Lubbock Cupper. Yeah, and I'll say it again, Lubbock Cupper.
Oh, he loves saying Lubbock Cupper.
Yeah, and talk a little bit about
Kobe Wood. Yeah, it's a tough game. That's a tough game. That was Randall's opener, and that was a tough game to start off with. But Kobe Wood played like 6 positions. So he goes starting receiver, where he's a stud, cornerback, punt returner, punter, extra point holder, and when Colby Russ went down with an injury, their starting quarterback, he came in and threw a couple touchdown passes. So the dude played like 5 positions in the game, and what else would you expect from Brian Wood's son?
Yeah. Very versatile. What an athlete to be able to go in and play 6 different positions. And I think they put him in at offensive line.
They would have put him in if he had to play there. I guarantee you would have.
Yeah.
That kid, he's all over the place. And this week, I think right now he's going to be the quarterback this week for Randall. They're going to play Lubbock Monterey on Thursday night.
Tough loss for Randall, but look for Kobe Wood this week at quarterback. In the 4A ranks, Bushland, they lost a close one to Caprock by a touchdown, 49-42. I was at that game, and what a battle that game was between both teams, and it was kind of a shootout. I mean, just going one right after the other and answering touchdowns, and it was a great game over at Bivens. Bushland loses that one, moves to 1-1 on the season. Caprock, though, with a big win. I'll say that. Zach Insinius had a great game for Caprock, the quarterback. Had a great game. Also, Caleb King. Do you have his stats over there?
I can't seem to locate him. We had to run a box on that, and I don't have the day.
I don't know how many yards he ran for, but Caleb King had several touchdowns, rushing touchdowns in that game, and had some great numbers as well. He had an excellent game in Caprock's win, 49-42.
His stats were good enough to be our 6A, 5A player of the week, and guess what, Steve? I found him. He ran for 251 yards on 21 carries.
251 yards.
Yeah.
For running back Caleb King for Caprock in the big win over Bushland.
Yeah. What was impressive to you in that game? I guess Bushland surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Bushland hung really well. I thought they, at times they looked like they could just take off, with that game to me. But then Caprock, just battled as well. It was an offensive battle is what it was, and 2 great offenses, fun to watch, and at the end of the game with about 40 seconds left or so, Colton Moore, the star quarterback emerging for Bushland, goes down with an injury, what appeared to be maybe a severe knee injury for Colton Moore. The senior quarterback, the backup quarterback, Cameron Thomas, had to come in the game with about 30 seconds left. And 3rd and 10 is when he came in. They had the ball somewhere around their own 30-yard line with 30 seconds left in the game. So tough situation after losing Moore for Bushland for Thomas to come in that situation. But I thought he did a pretty good job. They just ran out of time there for Thomas. But I think Colton Moore's going to be okay. Looked like he probably just sprained his knee.
Jimmy said I think he's going to be fine. I think he's expected to play against Border.
That's good for Bushland because they could be in some trouble if they lose quarterback Colton Moore. Definitely, probably their top athlete. Yeah, he really is. But big win for Caprock for sure. They were impressive as well with Zach Insinius and Caleb King. Pampa takes that Elk City 65-51. That had to have been a shootout as well to score that many points.
Yeah.
But how about quarterback Stewart for Pampa?
Second straight game over 300 yards passing. He went 351, 28-45. I was surprised to see how much points they gave up, but these two had a shootout 2 years ago, 51-49. So these two teams like to just put up points when they get together. Brendan Wolfley, he was our 4A player of the week, 120 yards receiving. Darrell Fields, 119 yards receiving. Then Bryce Parker, 150 yards rushing. I mean, my goodness. what else do you want from Pampa's offense?
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for much more than that.
And I like Pampa, man. This team is loaded, and they're showing it. And
yeah, Coach Pointer has a great team over there, and
they'll have a test with Hereford on Friday, but I think they can pull it out.
That'll be one of our games we look at.
Yeah.
And by the way, I want to mention real quickly while it's on my mind is I think we're going to move this podcast to Friday because we've been doing it on Thursday. I think we're going to move it to Friday, get a little bit more high school Friday morning. We'll go ahead and put the TPS podcast out and
I think that'll be a little better for the viewers that are looking for the day of.
Yeah, definitely. We'll talk a lot of high school football, obviously, in the Panhandle. We want to do that on Friday morning.
Let's give another shout-out real quick to Dina Zaccardo.
Yeah, definitely want to say big thanks to Dina over at Belmar Bakery and Cafe. Go see her for those great football cookies and much, much more. Team cookies, team dinners, the best cake decorators in town over at the Cake Cave. Great breakfast and lunch, as you mentioned before. We do appreciate Belmar Bakery and Cafe for partnering with us here on the Texas Panhandle Sports Podcast. And go see them over at Belmar Bakery and Cafe. And we're going to move into Perryton Weatherford. Perryton with another big win, 30-0 over Weatherford. How about Hadley Allred?
Yeah, and real quick, congrats to Steve Corsi on his first win as the Perryton head coach. And Hadley Allred, the quarterback, another great game, 239 yards. And Perryton, man, they're playing good football. I know they lost to Dumas, but they're playing good football. You know where they're going Friday.
Yeah, they're headed to Canadian Friday. Yeah. That should be a big game. We'll take a look at that one on Friday. But, yeah, Perryton's a lot of excitement in Perryton right now.
Well deserved.
Yeah, definitely. They know that they have could have something special going there in Perryton. Over in 3A, Muleshoe takes down Snyder, 54-21 final score in that one. That's Muleshoe's first win on the season.
And this is exactly what you thought out of Muleshoe. 601 total yards. Vito Diaz with 280 yards passing, exactly what you would expect from a David Wood team.
Definitely. Number 6, Canadian. They maul River Road 44-7, get back on track through the Wildcats.
What did they look like? I guess they did poke the bear. Bushland did.
They woke up the bear, as Wiggins said. I think they might have. The Canadian looked like they got back to their form of old. You know, for the last couple of years. They looked dominant over River Road. They looked crisp. They were a lot more their discipline was a lot better, I would say. So, yeah, Canadian definitely looking good, and everybody knows they're probably going to have another good team. They battled hard against Bushland in week 1, and so I think that they're back and had a great win over River Road and moving now into a tough matchup with Perryton this week.
And you got to say number 6 and moved up to number 6 in the AP poll.
They were number 9 after they lost to Bushland. And moving to number 6 now. Also, Childers takes down Panhandle. Whoa. I think Childers got mad after that loss to Wellington in week 1.
I did not. Man, you and I talked about this last week. I didn't see this coming, man.
I thought it would be a lot closer game.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I didn't see a 42-0 shutout at all. I think Childers is just man. That was their homecoming, and Coach Sims had his team ready. You know, and they, like I said, I think they were a little mad after that week 1 loss. Coach
Sims' team is proving that they are one of the toughest teams to play at Fair Park Stadium at home. 7-0 now under Sims in Fair Park Stadium. So, man, 40. I know Dane Ashley's got to be kicking himself because I think Panhandle's a better team than that. I'm with you there. Yeah. I think Panhandle's got a great team under Coach Ashley, and I didn't see a loss like that. Yeah, definitely. Fair Park Stadium is as noted as one of the toughest places to play on the road. I remember when I was a kid watching Canadian get beat many a time in that place. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Tough loss for Panhandle, 42-0. Childers takes them down. Sanford French gets their second win of the season right over Highland Park, 28-12.
They're just continuing to roll, man. 373 yards offense. Houston Moose got them playing well right now. Th're going to be a factor in 2-1A or 1-2A Division 1.
I think so. A big win in week 1 for French, taking down Spearman. Now taking down Highland Park in week 2, 28-12. The Dimmitt Bobcats get their second win of the season.
How about them? 50-49 in OT
over Hill Center.
2-0.
Bobcats are 2-0.
2-0, baby.
Keep your eye on the Bobcats. Moving down to 2A, Farwell over Crosbyton, 54-8, and they moved to 2-0 on the season.
This is the sleeper team, buddy. I'm telling you, Farwell is loaded, and they are playing well. Miguel Vasquez has back-to-back 100-yard games. They are crushing people. This is a team to not sleep on. I can see them pushing Wellington and Memphis both in the playoffs later down the road.
Moving over to Wheeler, Memphis was at Wheeler. They absolutely just kill Wheeler, 44-8, the final score in that one. David Dixon, the running back for Memphis, runs for 219 yards. He was my player to keep an eye on this week. And
he's already got 374 yards on the year.
Yeah, he's definitely one to watch the whole season is David Dixon. But big win for Memphis and Coach Wood over in Wheeler.
And I want to tell David Dixon, thank you for having me now owe Lance Launer to steak dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I picked Wheeler. I thought it was going to be close.
Yeah.
I thought and that's, oh, man, those are the games where you're like, wow. It's kind of like Children's Panhandle. You just didn't.
No, I definitely thought that was going to be a better matchup than it ended up being.
Yeah.
Number 4, Stratford, big win over Guyman, 56-10. That's no surprise. Yeah, definitely a big win for Stratford, moving to 2-0 on the season. How about Clarendon over Spring Lake Earth, 28-7, moving to 2-0 on the season?
Clarendon is Daquan Oliver, 107 yards rushing. Demontre Cortez, also over 100 yards rushing. So powerhouse running game right now. Clarendon surprisingly 2-0.
And moving down in the 1A 6-man ranks, Valley big time over Follett, 54-6.
Yeah, kind of surprising. Valley is coming down in Division II. Everybody's looking forward to that game in the playoffs. I think that'll be a different game. I think Follett's still a team. A lot of talent back, but trying to gel. But Valley, boy, right now they rocking and rolling. They look extremely good.
Valley's looking really good. You got a couple of other games to mention too, right?
Well, yeah. Silverton Owls did it again. Beat Crest 70-44. Josh Gordon's team 2-0. Caleb Nasi-Encino, get this stat, Steve. 18 touchdowns in 2 games.
2 games and 18
touchdowns. He's almost like that's a season for a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And this guy's did it in 2 games, and they're 2-0. Fort Elliott's 2-0. Laz Buddy's 2-0. The world's upside down right now in 6-man. I love it.
Kind of the big draw of 6-man. You can score 18 touchdowns.
Yeah.
As a quarterback, in 2 games. It's something you can do in 6-man.
There was a McLean kid. He was our 1A player of the week. Caden Man. He had almost 500 yards all purpose against Groom. So it's just, I love 6-man, man. They put up the stats like that Nasi-Encino kid's. He's on pace for what, 70 touchdowns? Amazing, isn't it? I love it.
Yeah, it's something you just don't see anywhere else.
Yeah, real quick, in 2A, that Bovina kid, David Laura, throws for 450 and a win over Shamrock. 450 yards.
450 yards.
Yeah, just impressive.
Yeah, very impressive for sure. That's going to do it for our high school recap. Kel, I wanted you to talk briefly about the WT Buffs and their game against the Sousa Pacific to open up the season last Thursday.
And I know Coach Nesbitt and his team is disappointed how the outcome started, 28-10 loss. And, man, I watched that game on the live stream, and man, their defense is really good. I was very impressed. They held Azusa to 242. That offense just struggled. They're young. They got a young line. They got young receivers, and you can tell it's a team trying to gel offensively. I think Azusa did a good job of taking away the run game, putting pressure on Ethan Brinkley to make some throws. And it's all about timing for the Buffs. I think they'll be fine. They go to Pueblo this week, which is a very, very tough game. Pueblo got beat by Mines pretty bad. I can see the Buffs, if they just work on the timing a little bit. They're a good team. They had some special team mistakes. Just a young team need to gel. I don't want everybody to give up on them yet. I think this is a team that can still have a very successful season, especially as good as they are defensively.
They play this Saturday?
Yep, Saturday, 7 o'clock in Pueblo.
I want to talk real quick, just our player of the week. We've predetermined this, Kel. Jalen Ford, the junior running back for Canyon High School.
Yeah, we both agreed on this, 235 yards and 4 touchdowns, and we're seeing the game changer that he can be. And I'm excited to see what he can do the rest of the season now. Let's get into our next podcast real quick. NFL opens up this weekend. We have 7 local guys, three guys from Amarillo, 4 WT guys, including the Bushland boys, Weston Richburg and Crockett Gilmore. I've already spoken with them. We got it in the can, recorded. We're going to have those guys on.
We'll have them on this Friday.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for us today on the Texas Panhandle Sports Podcast, brought to you by Belmar Bakery and Cafe. Thanks for listening, and be sure to tune in this Friday, September 9th, as we preview this week's high school football matchups. Also, we will have Crockett Gilmore and Weston Richburg on the show, as Kel said. I'm Steve Forrest for Kel Steed. Have a great day, everybody.